The special audit on immigration and nationality, according to Auditor General Dorothy Bradley, occasioned from a random memo crossing her desk.
During the course of my daily duties, I came across a memo from the Ministry of Labor, Local Government, Rural, National, and National Emergency Management and Immigration and Nationality, dated September 30th, where it made reference to some missing visas within that ministry, within that department. What happened is that once I found that and I decided that we wanted to do an audit on visas, a team was established and they were assigned to take on the audit of the missing visas. Once we started that audit, we had encountered, it was a public discussion in a sense, where there was a case of Mr. Kim with a passport, and so
case of whom?
Wong Hong King.
In the course of, so just in the course of your...
In the course of executing that audit, the initial audit, which was to cover the missing visas, we then learned of the case with the passport, and so we simply broadened our scope and included that part of it.
The resulting investigation took 3 years and filled 3 volumes. It lists many names of many persons, high and low, entangled in the April 2011 to September 2013 alleged grand hustle of immigration certificates, passports, visas, and related documents. It is now the task of Chairman Aldo Salazar and members Dr. Carla Barnett, Eamon Courtney, Mark Lizarraga, Ashley Rock, and Elena Smith to sift through the many allegations and help to determine what went wrong at the department and why and what, if anything, can be done to stop it. But according to Bradley's testimony, what is on display reflects only the tip of the iceberg.
You state in your opening, in your summary, executive summary, that this audit reflects a small percentage of the total findings because of the volume of actual findings. Can you give us an idea of how small this percentage is?
This percentage reflects a 25%.
25%. So,
of 1 year activity.
sorry?
25% of a 1 year activity, because we did 2 years, so it's 25% of 1 year,
Okay.
which would equate to something like maybe 3 months.
3 months. So if you had in fact done a full 100% audit, we would have expected to see 4 times, perhaps.
I'm not sure. It would depend on the examination and the findings.
But Bradley also noted that the ministry was not completely helpful in relation to the investigation as it happened. The Senate committee met for the first time in its full capacity before the public hearing this morning, and according to member Senator Eamon Courtney, they agreed that the hearing would be streamlined as much as possible and they would be proceeding very deliberately.
We had a meeting prior to the public session, and we agreed that it is important that we have a structured approach to the questioning of the witnesses and the conduct of the inquiry. And since the Auditor General was already here, we thought that we would just ask her some preliminary questions, and then when we return, we would go in depth into the questions we have for her. Most importantly, we decided that we are going to hire an attorney for the Special Senate Select Committee, and that attorney is going to be assisting us between now and the next time we return, and therefore, hence the short meeting today.
Sir, what in your mind are some of the things you would want to know in the next session in which Ms. Bradley makes herself available?
Well, I think the Auditor General's report is quite comprehensive. We need for her to clarify on the record the procedure she adopted, the way in which she reached her conclusions. We need for her to indicate to us the evidence that she had, the evidence that she did not get, and that's one of the issues that we'll be taking up, the fact that the Senate will insist on getting those things. And maybe having seen that, she may want to change her report. We're at a very preliminary stage, and I think that the Auditor General's report and her evidence is going to be very helpful in terms of the long term, in terms of what recommendations the committee will make.
And according to Chairman Salazar, there is a long way to go to get to what some consider the meat of the issue.
We haven't set a date for the next session as yet because we need to do certain things. We have decided to engage an attorney to assist with the procedure. We had some deliberations in relation to that. So we're not able to say an exact date, but we're going to engage the services of an attorney. And after we've done so, we'll then set a date.
Were there any guidelines set down as to how you go about selecting an attorney?
Well, there were no guidelines. We proposed among us some names for selection. I wouldn't want to divulge that at this time. And we would go about asking for I wouldn't want to say base, but we'll go around asking for what the remuneration would be expected by those attorneys, and we'll select one. Not necessarily only based on remuneration, but based on experience and how we feel that person will be able to help.
Sir, I think maybe one of the most valid reasons for the inquiry is, let's ask those ministers what they did and why they did what they did. When will we get to that point?
I cannot say exactly when we'll get to that point.
From Belmopan, Aaron Humes reporting for News 5.